they shouldn't even be considered experts in the field whenever they come out doing this kind of crap.
Something about these two just honestly give me the ick. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer, everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, this is just a clip from a live of whenever the Barnharts went and did an interview with Ashley Bandfield on her whatever she was doing. We're going to be taking a deeper look at these two because there's a lot about them that I just don't really like. I don't like the fact that they're out here throwing a bunch of stuff out there without showing any documentation, without showing any proof of anything. They're giving us websites that we can't find whenever we go to actually look up the actual website that they are giving us. And they're telling us a bunch of stuff that, again, they can't back up for anything. And also a lot of very hollow things, stuff that don't lead anywhere, that is not evidence of anything. Now, again, these are experts that were brought in by the state to look at Bryan Kohberger's electronics, his laptops, any of his computers, his iPad, his cell phone. And we know, even now, with this plea agreement and the sentencing over with, that they had no connection found. And that, again, the state stated themselves they cannot put him in direct contact with 1122 King Road. That's so important, but a lot of people just forget that that's what's even being said. But I said I was going to clip this and post it by itself. We are still going to be going and digging into that very first article that came out regarding the information that these two put out there, along with going in and seeing what other little nuggets that they have attempted to drop on all of these different interviews that they have been doing over the past few weeks or so, to see if any of it can be substantiated once all of the evidence and all of the documents start becoming unsealed. Now, again, we have another batch of these documents waiting for response. Well, I say waiting for response, but unfortunately, they've now sealed their responses to this next batch, and this next batch has a lot to do with Bryan Kohberger's AT&T records when it comes to Cy-Ray, and when it comes to the trial brief, and when it comes to a few other documents pertaining to the alternate perpetrators. So it sounds like it's a bunch of important information. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what they end up doing. But the fact that they've both now sealed their responses, I just don't like it. Not whenever we are ready where we are right now. What are we sealing stuff for? I just don't like it. But let me go ahead and play this clip, and then I'll be back at the end.
Okay, so we're going to watch this. Like I said, I want y'all to pay attention to the wife and to his face to see the difference whenever they talk about stuff. Because you can just tell. You can tell who has more morals. You can tell who's like, you know, you can just tell. That's all I'm going to say is like, you can just tell. I'm still going to go over all like the information that they claim they have. I really don't honestly care about their interview stuff because these people, which is this interview right here is proof of that shit, are going to just say whatever they're like basically paid to say. What I want to see is what they actually had submitted as evidence. Like actual factual evidence, not all of this, oh, it could be, or it might be, or whatever the hell else they're trying to say for whatever. I know that like way that he turned off his phone and like did all these other certain things they're claiming happened like 4 times. Like I'm aware of like the things they're trying to say, but at this point I need to hear, I need to hear the way they're saying it, because after listening to them here, the way that they're going on about stuff is disgusting. It's honestly really disgusting. Now, you also need to remember, and all the shit talking that Banfield's about to do about Kohberger and his mother's relationship, you have to remember she just did an interview with a person who apparently went to school with Kohberger's sister. And then she wanted to pretend like she actually gives a shit about how they're victims too and blah, 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 while talking shit and saying stuff about how like it would be better if he were dead. To someone who knows the family, because she's insane. So we're going to watch this. This is the Barnharts. This is the Barnharts. This is a couple, a married couple, who used to work or does work or represent Celebrite, and apparently did a lot of the location information, not location information, but dug deep into his electronics and his phone to like find all kind of things. it's still hilarious to me that they're trying to pretend like he cleaned all of his devices while they have like all of this stuff, including searches for things that make him look not okay. Like, why would you leave that on your phone, but apparently like delete and clean and wipe all this other stuff? Probably because you didn't. And it's an excuse that they're using for the reason why they couldn't find anything other than the fact that there just wasn't anything to find. That's where I'm at with this. Because I'm still waiting. We've got docs from MPD and ISP drop in, and now we have documents being unsealed, and I've yet to see anything. Yet to see anything. Just insane stuff. Insane stuff. So let's go ahead. Listen to this as best as you can without wanting to completely just tear your hair out. Because again, it's only 4 minutes long. I want to show you how pathetic this is so that you guys can understand the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because this is just wild how they act about stuff that has nothing to do with anything. And again, if you go into the comments, you'll see that people are like, what? What are you talking about? Here's this. Right here. This is where it is. Let's see how ridiculous this is. Well, I've already seen it, but now y'all can see it too.
Primarily was on his PC. It was also on his phone. But as you said earlier, he wanted to go back. So he wrote not one, but 2 letters of...
Okay, so this is them talking about how he actually did lose his TA position, according to her. We've yet to see the date of it, but according to the information that came up before that they never showed any proof of, it was the 19th, which is the same day that the feds called MPD, which I find really funny. Really funny, especially after the report that we read yesterday from Snyder, the guy that he was a TA for, that said that he didn't want him to lose his TA position, especially whenever they did not basically point out the reasons why, because it was going to open up the opportunity for a civil lawsuit. That came from the professor. That's pretty important to remember that he said that. So what they're talking about here, because this starts in a weird section. I started it right where it started. What they're talking about here is stuff that they apparently found on his computer. 2 different things that he sent for like the reasons why he needed to keep his position, why he wanted to keep his position. I don't know why it started there and not with the like full context, but that's the context of this. So let me start it right back so that you guys can start from the beginning.
This primarily was on his PC. It was also on his phone. But as you said earlier, he wanted to go back. So he wrote not 1, but 2 letters of grievance explaining why he needed that insurance, why he needed the TA role, what it meant to him. And then in a second one was saying why the professor...
See, I don't know why they did this right here. And it was like in a second one when they're showing something that was before he even went back, before this was even an issue, before it got to this point. You know what I mean? So they're trying to show something and give it an insinuation that like this is the second one, but it's not. I wish that they would pay more attention to the way that they put their visuals up.
Were wrong. So why they were wrong. He is a good student. He has a good GPA. He can be both a good student and a TA and deserves that role.
Not sure, Heather, if you know the answer to this, but was he responding to female professors and did he have like a real attitude in some of his writings?
The one I'm not sure if it was a male or female professor, but the one where he got the improvement plan, that was with a female professor. And that was the second letter, I believe, was going back to her.
How about the attitude part? Did he have attitude or was he really trying to like grovel?
In the first one, he was groveling. In the second one, he was trying to point out why he was right and she was wrong.
So he was defending his position. I would find it really difficult to believe that a man that just committed 4 heinous murders lost the position that he was in, which meant that he did not have to go back to the location really close in proximity to where these murders were committed and then like beg to go back to put yourself in like dangerous position of getting caught if you really were the guy. I find that extremely hard to believe. But you see how she's trying to make this like a sexist thing? Like it's not okay for him to defend himself and say the reasons why he believes he should stay on and the reasons why he feels like this other person that just so happens to be a female is wrong in her reasonings for why he should lose it. That's called trying to keep your position. It's called defending yourself. But you see how they're trying to twist it. I don't really quite get how is that hard for her to see that he is going to have a little bit of an attitude? He's going to have a little bit of a stance to himself in this situation. And if that's an issue for her, then I really wonder how much of a doormat she is for her to be like, oh, was there attitude whenever he was defending himself and taking up for himself? Probably. Freaking probably.
Yes, the woman, of course.
Yes,
That's what all his female colleagues said about him, that he would be late for the women's classes, the women professors, but never late for the men's, and that he would berate the women in the classroom, but not the men who were students. Okay.
And that's not true either. Like, he literally said stuff to, like, both. But she's not going to report that. Just like, again, she's not going to report what Professor Snyder said about how he shouldn't have lost his position and that this could end up in a civil lawsuit. Now, this is coming again from the professor that he was a TA under, meaning he probably read everything. So if the actions that really caused him to lose his position are so straightforward and it's all this junk that they're talking about, why would Professor Snyder be like, this could be a lawsuit? You probably should have kept him on. That's in a police report. Those details are important.
So Jared, his mother sent him this article about the murders, after the murders, but of course before he was arrested, about Xana putting up a fight. And it seemed, I think, that he was on the phone with his mother right around the time that this text came in. Can you tell me a little bit about her?
And see, that's the kind of stuff that I want to see, because they apparently have all of that, right? Like they have, I'm almost kind of wondering if they're the leak. I'm almost wondering if they're the leak, because all of a sudden we've got like all these new selfies and shit coming out. And I really am wondering if they're the leak, because they're the ones who were digging into all of his electronics. And they're like the loudest over the past like month and a half, right? I'm wondering. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff that I wish they would just like release already, because like Bandfield just said, because so obviously they've sent her some shit. He's talking to her and like a text comes in while they're on the phone. Well, that's like forensic download stuff. That's like stuff from the phones. So when are they going to release us that stuff? Why does this chick get to see it just because she's talking to these people that aren't really supposed to just be like sharing all kind of stuff? Like, I understand the gag order is up and done, but if their so say evidence that was submitted is still technically under seal, then why are they allowed to come out and give it to these idiots but not show anything on the screen literally ever? That's the other problem I have. Like, where's the proof of everything that you're claiming? You just keep looking down. How do I know what you're actually like looking at? And like this one right here, she's looking at a computer screen. Where are you getting this from? Why can't you show us the documents while you're talking? I mean, everybody knows how to screen share. What's the problem?
Communications with him?
Yeah, sure. So November 17th just kind of stands out a little bit. He was
off that day, getting a haircut and going to the doctor. That's that day.
He had more mother interaction that day than normal, which was a lot.
Because he went to the doctor.
He was on the phone with her for hours that day. But sort of to end the night, that night, and this was the same day that the grievance letters were being worked on and sent. But that night.
Oh. So the letters that they just talked about weren't even being written in Pennsylvania. They were being written like on that day. Well, then I guess he would be calling his mom to get like her advice for how he should try to do that. That seems pretty normal.
He received a link from his mom, and the link was to a news article basically describing how Xana had bruises on her body and how she had put up such a fight. And there were
bruises, you say? Bruises would most likely entail the fact that she would have been like either alive for a hell of a lot longer than you want to pretend that she was after she was attacked, or she was laying there in a certain position to where blood pooled in certain places and then it left what looks like bruises that aren't bruises. So which one is that?
was no response, no text back. And looking at the timeline a little bit, you can tell that they're actually speaking on the phone. What that tells us, and we can assume, is that they were talking about the Idaho murders on that night.
The day after the first press conference? It happening in that area, and her son lives in that area and is in criminology, and his mom sends him an article, and that's supposed to be like something bad. If he wasn't the person responsible that they're claiming is responsible, then that would be normal. You know how many parents of students were sharing stuff about the case, making sure that their kids were safe, asking them all kinds of questions? Literally everyone between both schools. So if he wasn't the guy behind bars right now, this would be a nothing. But because he's the person on the TV, because he's the person who was convicted, it's like somehow different. The mom even has like, something's wrong with the mom. Oh my God, there's no way they didn't know. And now she's sending him articles. That's the insinuations here. They go really far. Damn, they reach really far.
And then the next morning, there's just kind of nothing. And then this text about coffee beans. And then the second text that said, yes, still there. Same girl. Very sweet to the 2 older lady customers there. I have no idea what that is. But there's.
So what that was is that there must be like a coffee place called Coffee Beans or something like that. And it sounds like they were having a conversation about a girl that used to work there. Maybe it's somebody that Kohberger was interested in before he left, and he was just wondering if she was still there because he wanted to maybe stop by. Who knows? But just listen to how stupid Bandfield is here in a second. Just listen.
There's no context between talking about the murders the night before and then this thing the next morning.
Can you just repeat what you said about the nice girls in the coffee shop? Who sent that text that you read, and can you reread it?
Yeah, his mother sent it to him. It said, yes, still there. Same girl. Very sweet to the 2 older lady
One
customers
girl.
there.
Not 2. See the swallow? You see the swallow? He knows. He knows where she's about to go. He knows she's about to go so stupid. Watch the way that his face goes. You can tell. You can just tell by the hard swallowing. He knows how this is pathetic.
The lady customers there.
God, it's just
If there
eerie.
had been something in Pennsylvania,
So
I'm
eerie.
not sure. There's just no context.
No context. It's so eerie that him and his mom were having a conversation about a coffee shop and somebody that works there that's nice. Oh my God. I could have never been around this woman in high school. No. But listen to how stupid she is in a second. This is so dumb.
Well, all I can think of is that the vegan restaurant where the girls work, maybe that was considered a coffee shop. But is there?
So you're telling me that after the victims are dead, no longer even able to go to work, his mother is texting him about a girl physically still at a coffee shop who's nice to these old people, and you think it's about Maddie and Xana at the non-vegan, lamb-cooking Greek restaurant that somehow you think might be a coffee shop for your own narrative. How can she sit here and say shit so blatantly stupid with a straight face? It's just honestly unbelievable.
No context because he deleted so much stuff and it was just unretrievable?
No.
So that's the tricky part, is when you look at their communication, it looks like he might have been deleting some of his side of the messages. But there's also this complicating factor.
It looks like it because there's no context, because there was phone calls, and because his phone wasn't tapped and recorded, you didn't hear the conversation. So of course the text messages look like there's no context. So instead of just saying, nah, not really, you're going to lie so that you can keep on coming onto mainstream and making that paycheck for your appearances and say, yeah, it probably is the case because, there's no context. No, there was phone conversations in between, stupid. You don't have to be an expert to understand that. You literally just said that yourself. See why I don't even want to pay attention to anything that these idiots are claiming? I don't really care at this point. I want their documents. I want the stuff that they gave to the state. That's the only thing about these 2 idiots that I care about at this point. Because what is this trash? They shouldn't even be considered experts in the field whenever they come out doing this kind of crap. I feel like the husband kind of knows that the insinuations and the things that they're sort of putting out there and the way that they're putting them out there isn't actually accurate. The way that he hard swallows, the way that he sort of tries to dance around some stuff. But the wife, on the other hand, she's just like cutthroat. Just like Ashley Bandfield. You can see that these 2 are like 2 peas in a little pod.
Anyway, don't forget that we're going to be taking a deeper look at these two and the information that they're out here putting out very, very soon. But for now, let me know what you guys' thoughts are in these two down in the comments. I'm really curious as to how my audience actually feels about what's going on with these two here. So please let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments below. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that that notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.